We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council regular voting meeting for tonight, which is Monday, July the 15th, 2024. Our invocation will be done by Associate Pastor Andrew Dickinson of the First Presbyterian Church of Douglasville, and then our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller. Please stand for the invocation. Good evening, Pastor.
As you're able, please join me in prayer. Almighty God, we humbly ask that we may prove ourselves a people mindful of your ways and glad to do your will. Bless our land with honorable industry, sound learning, and pure conduct. In the light of the events this weekend, we ask that you save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every evil way. Defend our liberties and fashion into one united people the multitudes brought here from many kindreds and tongues. We ask that you grant the spirit of wisdom to those we entrust with the authority of government, both locally and nationally, that there may be justice and peace. We pray for Mayor Robinson, Mayor Pro Tem Miller, and our city councillors who serve with them. We thank you for their willingness to serve, for their dedication and their labors on behalf of our community. We pray that you would be with them and guide them in the work that they do. Finally, we ask that you renew us with your presence and empower us with goodness, that we may build a community that is a blessing for all who live, work, learn, and grow within it. We ask these things in your holy name, confident of your goodness and love. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you so much, Pastor, for praying for our country and for us. And we definitely need to continue to pray for unity and peace. Thank you so much. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council meeting for tonight. This is our regular meeting where we will vote on the items that were discussed at our legislative work session last Thursday. So the items tonight, official action will be taken, so the meeting will be a little bit different. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. I'll go over a few of the rules and then we'll get into the body of the meeting. I ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. We ask that you will please not call out individual names or groups of individuals, and that you would direct all of your concerns to the chairperson. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud or react to speakers or speak from the audience when you're at the microphone. Just direct all of your information, concerns, or comments to the chairperson. We are only required to accept public comments during required public hearings. And if you have any printed material, I ask that you please give that to our city clerk, Ms. Acker. She will make copies and pass those copies out to myself and council members. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, I ask that you please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting so they will not be disruptive. I'll go over protocol more as the agenda and how it's going to be run in the meeting, and the following will take place. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item, and then that person or applicant will make his or her presentation. Now, today we're only accepting new comments or concerns from those agenda items that were discussed last week. Myself and council members will possibly ask clarifying questions. This is a voting meeting, so we will take action on those items that were discussed last Thursday. Again, there's 20 minutes for those in favor of the item and 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. And you also have 5 minutes during comments from citizens and delegates if you'd like to talk to us. Each person has one opportunity to speak, and when you come forward, please, you will have filled out a speaker card, which are located outside on the table. They're blue cards. We ask that you please put your information on that card, your name and address, and then when you come to the podium, repeat that, recite your name and address to us, and then that will go into the record, and you can continue to talk. This is not a question and answer or debate format. We're just here to hear the information, deliberate, and make our decisions. So that is a lot of information. Hopefully, we're all on the same page. There are hard copies outside if you'd like to have one of those copies for the agenda. Otherwise, you can follow us on the screen that is above us this evening on the projector. So now we'll move on with the agenda. We are at item number 5, which is approval of the agenda. So I will open the floor for a motion for adoption of the regular meeting agenda for July 15th, which is tonight, 2024.
So moved.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. I have a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved in second by City Councilmember Estes and second by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Miller to adopt item 24-173. Do we have any concerns, comments, or questions as it relates to the adoption of the agenda this evening? I don't see any. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item 24-173 is unanimously approved. Now I'll move on to item number 6, which is approval of the minutes. So I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the minutes of the June 27th, 2024 legislative work session and executive session, in the minutes of July 1st, 2024 committee meetings, executive session, and regular meeting. I have a motion. I would like to receive a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Watts. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second, moved by Councilmember Watts and second Councilmember Estes to approve item 24-179. Do we have any additions, deletions, any corrections to the minutes as presented from council? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-179 is unanimously approved. And now I will move on to item number 7, which is Economic Development Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
You're
one item
welcome.
under the Economic Development Committee at this time,
Yes, sir.
and that is to consider for adoption a resolution approving the execution and delivery of a proposed inducement agreement with DCB Atlanta West LLC for the acquisition and construction of a co-location data center expansion in the city of Douglasville, Georgia.
Okay.
And the profound Mr. Chris Pumphrey
I like the adjectives.
will give us some further background on this if he's able.
I know.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. It's a
evening.
pleasure to be with you all again this evening.
Yes, sir.
Chris Pumphrey, Elevate Douglas Economic Partnership, 8512 Bowden Street, Douglasville. Thank you again for allowing us to be here. We did do a presentation this on Thursday evening. I know a few of you were not here on this past Thursday, so I'll ask if you would like, we can run through that presentation again.
Yes, sir.
So we'll do that, and I will hand these to you once again, just to make sure everybody has them. Unfortunately, Mr. Gatch, who was presented to us this past Thursday and also last year, he had to actually catch a flight out today. And so we have Mr. Michael Clark, who is Senior Vice President of Construction. He'll actually do the walkthrough of the presentation with you all, and then I'll just hand these to you and let him come do the presentation and overview of the project. That's okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Councilman. Thank you for having us. So this is just a really quick overview of the, Michael Clark, Senior Vice President of Construction for DC Blocks.
Yes, sir.
So this is just a quick overview of the project in question. It's on River Road, adjacent to the Microsoft site that's in Lithia Springs. So if you go to page 2, there's a couple of overview pictures of the site. Currently, we are in construction. We are moving quite a bit of earth on the site right now. Schedule-wise, we are scheduled to be ready with our first building pad in the middle of August. We do have a large retaining wall under construction. There's quite a bit of activity on site. We are drilling, we are doing blasting, so there's quite a bit of activity currently on site. We do have 25 to 30 tradesmen on site every day, and at peak, we expect somewhere north of 500 craftsmen on site when the project is going full bore. Any questions before I go to the next one? All right, so on page 3, you'll see just a quick overview of the current project as approved. So it's a 2-building development. The building on the south is an 80-megawatt 2-story data center. The building on the north side is a 2-story 40-megawatt data center, and there's a substation adjacent to it that's going to be fed from Greystone for utility. Any questions there? All right. The next page is the, I guess, the root of the matter at hand. So we're looking to expand our footprint to an adjacent parcel that is on the east side of the existing project. And that would facilitate adding a 3rd building to the development, another 2-story 80-megawatt data center facility. And that's part of the discussion today. Any questions? The overall project, we have, well, actually, I'm going to transition it back to Mr. Pumphrey. I think he's going to go through the investment brief.
Okay, he'll do the timeline.
So last year, we presented before you all a 3-phase project, which Michael outlined for you, which was on page 3. And that outlined initially, it was 3 buildings. It's been consolidated into 2 buildings. So that's the 2 buildings that are 2 stories, representing the 80-megawatt and the 40-megawatt building. That was a $1.2 billion investment that DC Blocks would build, and so you all approved a property tax incentive plan for that last summer. And that is, in essence, the construction that you see that is underway today, where they're planning to deliver that first phase, that first pad the middle of next month, and then begin to go vertical on the facility there. Since then, they have been working with us and approached us about the ability of looking to expand the entire scope of that project. So instead of doing just a 3-phase project of where they're doing just that one site that you see there, they're considering expanding that, making it a much larger project from an investment standpoint. So that initial investment was $1.2 billion, expanding that nearly up to $2 billion, so another $800 million investment on the adjacent parcel. That adjacent parcel is currently owned by Rooker, who's the developer of the entire development. It's actually the last parcel in that park. If you recall, over the years, Rooker has been developing out that park with the plan on kind of building out a warehouse and distribution park. And so their plans were basically to go and build a spec warehouse on that site, and DC Blocks has approached them with the consideration of acquiring that property to expand their data center campus. So really what's happened in this park is it's really converted from that kind of intention to be an industrial park to really a high technology park. And so this would be an opportunity to continue that and really take up that last parcel with the encouragement of them considering making this investment. So it'd be an additional $800 million investment by DC Blocks. And just as some further familiarization, the investment by DC Blocks is just in the real estate. It's making the site flat. It's building the buildings, making them a data center. What goes inside the facility are servers by their clients. So their clients would lease the space. Those servers are not a part of any incentive plan. So those servers are 100% taxed. Typically what we look at is a 2 to 3x on investment on those servers. Those servers are refreshed on average 4 to 5, 4 to 6 years, depending on the type of servers that they're investing into. So every 4 to 6 years, they're reinvesting the servers into that space. So if you take their $1.2 billion, you just do the math, 2 to 3x is invested into that building, and that 2 to 3x takes place over a time frame of 10 to 15 years of that investment. So that's 100% taxed. So what we're looking at is now adding an additional $800 million investment, doing the same thing, where you're basically incentivizing the real estate investment to encourage personal property investment to go in there. Furthermore, the project that we approved last year had a total of 6 jobs, which I know that was a part of our discussion last year as well. This actually would bring the total DC Blocks jobs up to 25, with an average annual salary of $130,000 a year. If you look at the average annual salary within Douglas County, it's more than 2x of our average annual salary here in the county. So this is a significant increase on an average annual salary standpoint from a county. One last thing, we ran an analysis of just looking at what it would be from a property tax collection standpoint. If we take on a per megawatt basis their investment, personal property, that's the servers going in. It breaks out to be roughly $37 million over a 10-year period in property taxes paid to county, city, and schools over a 10-year period. That's just on the servers invested into the facility for the $800 million facility that they would be looking to expand into. So I wanted to make sure you had all that information and ready to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Pumphrey. Any questions? We'll start with the ward captain. Mr.
Well, that's a new one. Chris, when we talked about this earlier, one question I had was to make sure that the substation that's going on the original parcel has sufficient capacity for this new data center? Okay, and water and everything else is covered, so we don't need any other infrastructure coming in that might cause some disruption in the area? Okay, good. Secondly, as the ward captain, so to speak, I am very much in favor of a data center coming to this parcel as opposed to a distribution center. That will have far less impact on the lives of the residents in the area than a distribution center would. So I think this is a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments or questions? This end, Madam Mayor?
No, sir.
As we said before, it's hard to scoff at $2 billion coming into your community. And I appreciate the explanation that you gave on Friday as to the concept of the employment involved in addition to the construction jobs that are being created between now and, was the opening, when is the final opening? Is it 2029 is when it'll be completed? Is that correct?
What's the final?
Roughly.
20, yeah, so it's going to be under construction for the next 5 years. It's a lot of building going on. That's going to be very healthy for our construction, local construction industry, so that's good. All right, if there's no other questions or comments at this time, then I would like to place item 24-232 in the form of a motion for approval.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved in second, moved by the chair, Councilmember Terry Miller, Mayor Pro Tem, and second by the ward representative, Councilmember Estes, to approve item 24-232. Do we have any additional comments, questions, concerns from the elected officials for Mr. Pumphrey or the representative? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-232 is unanimously approved. Congratulations.
Thank you. Also like to thank Mr. Leslie Chu, our board chair for the city authority, for being here with us tonight
Hello,
as well.
Mr. Chu. Good evening. Thank you so much for your time and your service on the board. Thank you. Congratulations.
Madam Mayor, that is all we have under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on then to item number 8, which is Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We have one item tonight on finance, to adopt a resolution enacting a new fee schedule for city sanitation services to be effective September 1st, 2024. And our finance director will get us started on this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We talked a little bit about this at Thursday night's meeting. We did make one update. We moved the effective date from August 1st to September 1st, and this will allow us some more time to let the residents know. I talked with Jason, or emailed back and forth with Mr. Post, and he has got a plan to push this out on social media and also do some email blitz to let the residents know of what's coming. Any further questions?
And this rate hike is a direct result of what the city's being charged? at
Yes,
the
sir. Landfill costs
landfill.
have gone up to the city 20%, and so for the commercial customers, that will increase 20%, but for residential customers, only a 9% increase. With 65 and older will be 90 cents a month increase, an increase of 90 cents a month, not 90 cents a month. I know we wanted to correct that last time. And then $2.61 a month if you have two 90-gallon containers. And Mr. Roberts is here. Do you have anything?
It's been a long time since we've,
I don't have anything to add to it unless you just have some questions.
I mean, it's been a long time since we've gone up on sanitation.
Well, at this kind of level, and one of the things that I had mentioned Thursday night, and some of you were unable to be here, but one of our contractors, GFL, that handles they own and operate the West Side Transfer, they went up on us 20%. But what I had pointed out Thursday night, that they have not been giving us the routine increases that Republic has been giving us over the years at Lee Transfer. So I have discussed with a couple of folks in my department about how we sort of plan through that. And I have reached out to GFL to ask them why such a sudden increase, other than they hadn't been giving it, but, why hadn't you been giving them? So I don't have a response from him yet on that exactly, but it is what it is.
Any questions or comments from council? All right. I'd like to make a motion then to approve item 24-204.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved by the chair, Councilmember Watts, and second by Councilmember Estes to approve item 24-232. Do we have any additional comments, concerns, questions about this item? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-232 is unanimously approved. Oh, I apologize. 24-204. I was on the other item. Did you catch me, Councilman Watts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're good.
Yes, it's item 24-204. So it was motion to approve by Councilman Watts and second by Councilmember Estes. And everyone approved. Item said yes, no one opposed, so item 24-204 is unanimously approved. All right, so that's finance. Do we have any other items, Councilman?
No, ma'am. That's all we had tonight under finance.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. We'll move on then. Items number 9 and 10, we do not have any business, so we'll move on to Personnel and Organization Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
You're
a couple
welcome.
of items this evening.
Yes, sir.
Item A, adopt an ordinance effective July 16th, 2024, to amend the retirement plan for the elected officials of the city of Douglasville, Georgia. We have Dr. Westfield here if anyone has any questions, but since this was discussed Thursday night, if we don't have any questions, I will just go ahead and make a motion to approve item 24-209.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved by Councilmember, the chair of this committee, Councilmember Estes, and second by Mayor Pro Tem to approve item 24-209. Do we have any questions, concerns, or comments from council members? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-209 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Next item, adopt a resolution to establish a new minimum wage amount for city employees and to amend the pay scale. And again, Dr. Westfield is here if anyone has any questions or needs clarification. Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve item 24-233.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Burdanley.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's been probably moved in second, moved by the chair, Councilmember Estes, and second by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley to approve item 24-233. Do we have any questions or concerns for Dr. Westfield? Any issues? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-233 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
One more item, adopt an ordinance to amend the Personnel Policies and Procedures, Section 5-12, regarding employee merit pay increases, Section 7-2 regarding periodic employee evaluations, Section 9-7 regarding employee tuition assistance, and Section 11-7, payment for unused annual leave. And we will handle this in the same manner, unless anybody needs clarification from Dr. Westfield. I will make a motion that we approve item number 24-234.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Did you, Ms.
Mayor Pro
Acker?
Tem.
You got Mr. Mayor Pro Tem? Okay. Thank you. It's been properly moved by the chair, Councilman Estes, and second by Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Miller, to approve item 24-234. Do we have any concerns or questions as it relates to this personnel item that the chairman has brought forward? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-234 is unanimously approved.
And thank you, Madam Mayor. That is all we have this evening for the Personnel and Organization Committee.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilman Estes. We'll move on then to item number 12. It is Planning and Development Committee. And I will ask the Vice Chair, after he finishes signing the items we just approved, Councilmember Watts, the Vice Chair of Planning and Development Committee, if you would please take these items for me.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Our very first item is a motion to remove from the table item 24-239, which, point of order, it says in the motion, item 24-194, but it's item 24-239. Which one am I?
Item 24-194 is the tabled item, so this is just the removal of that as 24-239.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, motion to remove from the table item 24-239.
Yes, sir.
194. The motion is item 239, but the item you're removing from the table is 194.
Right, so the motion is for 24-239.
No, actually, the motion is to remove from the table 24-194.
We have it on the record, correct? We have it.
Okay.
So,
Whatever the clerk has on the record is what we're removing from the table. 24-194. Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. Has been properly moved in second to remove this item from the table. Do we have any comments, concerns, or questions? If not, all those in favor of removing this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, we got who's on first and who's on second. Now we're ready.
I don't know who's on third.
It's all those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. It's removed from the table. Now we'll move on to item number letter B.
Item B is, which was tabled from June 17, 2024. Consider a proposed ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for front and rear attached garage placement on residential structures in the R5 Single Family Cottage Residential District. And Ms. Reed will lead us through this. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Shayla
Good
Reed,
evening.
Community Development Director, 6695 Church Street. As you may recall on last week, this item is a staff initiation for a text amendment. This request is to add the option of having the rear and front yard garages for homes within the R5 district. We were asked to consider a calculation that would allow for the rear and the front yard garages to remain equally, to allow for their, so there wouldn't be an option to basically dismiss one over the other.
Right.
So we're asking to have there be no less than 60% of those garages to face the rear and no more than 40% for the front yard garages. And that concludes my report.
So 60% rear or front?
No less than 60%.
Okay. Council,
We had discussion on Thursday.
I know
So
there
you
was
can
some
open it up.
discussion, but at least two of us wasn't here.
Yes,
Or
sir.
not
You
here.
can open it up for,
Yeah, I'm just,
Yeah, we did.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have any comments?
No, I made a few on Thursday, but I'm perfectly fine with the 60% minimum, so,
60/40.
yeah.
And that's already,
Allows some flexibility, but doesn't take away the essence of what the point of that zoning district is providing for us, so.
and Mr. Estes, who happens to live in a community, part of our city that has rear entrance.
I agree with the Mayor Pro Tem. I mean, a mix, I think, is good. And these percentages don't seem to be too strenuous in either direction.
Councilwoman Danley, you have any questions or comments?
I'm sorry, I do not, thank you.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I do agree with the 60/40.
okay. All right, well, in light of that, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 24-194.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved by the Vice Chair, Councilmember Watson, second by Councilmember Estes, to approve item 24-194. Do we have any additional comments, questions, or concerns as it relates to this item that was tabled that we're bringing back? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-194 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Moving right along. Item C is another motion to remove from the table item 24-193. This particular removal from the table is item 24-240.
Yes, sir.
So I'd like to make a motion to remove from the table that item.
Thank you so much. I have a motion to remove from the table. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second by Councilmember Watts and second by Councilmember Estes to remove from the table item 24-193, which is item 24-240. Do we have any additional comments, questions, or concerns as it relates to this item? I don't see any. It's quiet. So all those, in favor of removing this item from the table, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-240 is unanimously approved to remove item 24-193 from the table.
Okay, that leads us to item D, which is the item just removed, tabled from June 17, 2024. Consider a request for a change in zoning from R2, single-family residential detached district, to R5, single-family cottage residential district for 33.26 acres located at the intersection of Camilton Street and I-20 in Land Lot 22, District 1, Section 5, parcel IDs 0022015 C014, 0022015C015, 0022015C016, 0022-015C018, 0022-015C076, 0022-015C077, 0022-015C088, 0022-015C089, and land lot 23, District 1, Section 5, parcel ID 0023-015-0024. Application by Trayton Homes LLC. Ms. Reed, take over. Yes, ma'am.
Did it, Coach?
Thank you, Councilman. So this particular property is within Ward 2. They are requesting to rezone their property from R2 to R5, which are cottage homes. As you may recall, they came before us, I think last month, and in that request, there was conversation about the density, whether it was medium or high. It has in fact been determined that it is a high density they're requesting. Your comprehensive plan recommends that this remains medium density. And during your planning commission meeting, the planning commissioners recommended denial of this application.
Medium density for this particular property would be how many lots again?
So we were recommending, in the staff report, we recommended it to be R3, which is 3 lots per acre. So we're recommending to stay within medium to take it to R3 instead of the R5 that is being requested.
Can you have her explain the difference between 2 and 3 so everybody's?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, that's a good
So
idea.
the way that the R3 and R5 works, you can either have 3 units per, or 3 lots per acre, or you can have 5, which is the R5, 5 lots per acre. So depends on how many, whatever the number is, that's the number of lots per acre. So it means that the density is higher if it's R5. It means that R3, of course, is a smaller density. If that makes.
I got all that. I just, I know that there was discussion last time about this item and what we just voted on as far as rear and front entrances affecting that this particular project. So I don't know if that factors into it or not, but
No,
I think, I was just going to say, I think based on the comments last week on Thursday from your applicant, there was a request to table. So you all don't have to do that, but that was that request based on a decision that you would make for the previous item.
I think one thing to note is we really hadn't had a discussion about changing this to R3 yet. And we've been talking about R2 and R5, but R3 is kind of a curveball thrown in here. So I think, I mean, my recommendation would be to retable and have a further discussion about R3, since we haven't really talked about that yet at all.
Yeah,
If the chair is
Yeah.
willing to consider that.
that's fine with me.
Yeah, so R3 would be the recommendation from staff because a comprehensive plan says medium density. R5 is considered high, R2 is what it currently
Right,
is. And
right.
so the comprehensive plan, based on the projection for growth, would be R3. So
Right.
that's the recommendation. We could either do R3 currently or have more of a discussion, or whatever your pleasure is.
Okay.
Either to table, and what would be the dates for us, city manager? Is it the next meeting in August or the meeting after that?
Whichever meeting you all want. Your meetings in August would be August 1st and 5th. Your second round of meetings would be August 15th and 19th. If you recall, that was a question that was being asked by Madam Chair last week, and the Attorney Fowler didn't give a specific date, but I think you only have, this would be your last time to table. So this would be it. You may want to give them a little bit more time.
Well, one thing about tabling it will allow some of the folks in the room that are here about this item to chime in during comments from citizens and delegates. And if that's the recommendation and council's fine with that, then that's fine with me.
And it would give the applicant time to adjust to the changes that you just made with the previous item.
Yes, to make their projections for development if it were to be R3 based on conversation. So it's your pleasure, whether it's August 1st and 5th tabling, or tabling to the meetings of August the 15th and 19th. So
Well,
either one would be
the-
your motion.
The latter ones would give more time. Has the question about who controls that intersection and who would do the traffic study, has that been answered yet?
So we haven't asked the applicant to conduct a traffic study. It doesn't require that with that particular zoning. We can have a conversation with the county to determine who would be the responsible party for that particular location.
I got you.
Yes, we can have that
So that hasn't
conversation.
been determined yet? who would
It
do
hasn't been officially determined, no.
Gotcha. So that could be determined between now and the
Yes, sir.
round that we're talking about? Because I know that was something that was brought up, a traffic study being done. Seemed like the residents were concerned about the traffic that was going to bring to their neighborhood. So anyway, if there are not any more comments, I will make a motion to table item 24-193.
Just so you can read all those numbers again.
To the meetings of August 15th and 19th?
15th and 19th, yes, and yes, ma'am, 15th and 19th. I was going to make a joke. I was going to say that maybe we could bring Councilman Adams back for that meeting, and he could read all the numbers like he used to. He used to do a good job with that, but
And the finance person, so you're trading from coaching to finance, but okay. So
Anyway.
we have a motion to table item 24-193 to the meetings of August 15th and 19th, 2024. So that's a motion given by the chair, vice chair. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved in second to table item 24-193 to the meetings of August 15th and 19th, 2024. Do we have any additional comments, questions, or concerns from council members? I did want to raise one other concern, as Councilmember Watts brought up about transportation. I know when we met with the county last week, and there were a few council members in that T-SPLOST meeting, and city manager and our city engineer, if you can help us with that concern about the diversion diamond or something in that area that the county was speaking of about Campbellton Street, Hospital Drive, and I-20. So I know that there's some transportation improvements slated for the area. So if we can bring that into the conversation as well to see what the county's planning, to see if it's GDOT, the city of Douglasville, Douglas County, or if we can collaborate for this development. But if we can bring that information to the table, it'll be very helpful.
Yes, ma'am. We'll email that to y'all because we do have some of those answers.
Thank you so much, City Manager. Okay, so I'm the only person who brought up any other concern. Any other comments from council members? If not, all of those in favor of tabling item 24-193 to the meetings of August 15th and 19th, 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item 24-193 is tabled to the meetings of August 15th and 19th, 2024.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll
You're
move
welcome.
to item E.
Yes,
Consider a
sir.
request for a variance from section 5.04B to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 30 feet to 13 feet to allow a building addition to be placed in the front yard setback on a lot of .523 acres at 7615 Granite Drive in Land Lot 190, District 2, Section 5, Parcel ID 01900250079. Application by JJM Holdings LLC, Mike Garrett, and Ms. Reed.
Yes, sir. This application or this property as well, this is within Ward 2. They are requesting to add to an existing structure to allow for their square footage to increase for storage purposes. Because of that addition to the structure, there will be an encroachment upon the front setback. During that time of construction or during the plat, it was identified as a 30-foot setback, so they're asking to reduce it down to 13. So staff has reviewed that, and we have not found any challenges with that request. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Y'all talked about this, I'm sure. I wonder, Councilwoman Burdanley, is this in your ward? Do you have any concerns about this particular item?
think this is the downtown ward.
Huh?
It's downtown.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, it's in,
Nicole and Elena's.
Miss Miller and Hudson. But council, you all discussed this the other night. Any concerns that were raised?
The addition is really to the side of the building because of the way the street is curving. It forces the setback to cross deeply into the property, so it doesn't really give them any opportunity to add to the building anywhere else other than that one spot.
Is it not going to infringe on any nearby properties or anything like that?
It's an industrial district to begin with, so.
And they'll be able to put storage that's currently outside, inside,
Like that?
to protect the equipment and to help aesthetically as well.
Okay. Any other comments? Make a motion to approve item 24-228.
Thank you so much, Coach. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. I had dueling seconds. Who do we have, Ms. Acker? Mr. Estes? Okay, thank you. It's been properly moved and second, moved by Councilmember Watson, second by Councilmember Estes to approve item 24-228. Do we have any additional comments, questions, or any concerns as it relates to this item from council members? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-228 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
One last item.
Yes, sir.
Item F, consider a request for final replat approval for the purpose of establishing the as-built locations of the townhome buildings for lots 44 through 48, 147 through 152, and 153 through 158 of Laurelwood Phase 2 for 12.018 acres at 5059 Reservoir Drive in land lots 23 and 24, District 1, Section 5, application by FR Arbor Place, LLC, Greg Hasty, and Mr. Gordon's going to give us what we need to know on this one.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm
Good
James
evening.
Gordon, 6695 Church Street. This, as we discussed on Thursday, this is similar to what you've seen before coming from this townhome community. This is simply the as-built locations as they're building out buildings. And so now this is 3 more buildings that they've gotten completed. And I'll take any questions.
This is your ward, Council.
Any questions or comments on this item?
I think we covered. And then
Any concerns that were raised the other night on this item?
there's one issue with a nearby property owner, which I think we are handling now. Is that moving forward, Madam
So that's been addressed,
City Manager?
the issue?
It is in writing.
Okay. No other questions, comments? I'd like to make a motion to approve item 24-236.
Thank you so much, Coach. We have a motion to approve item 24-236. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 24-236. Do we have any additional comments, questions, or concerns for Mr. Gordon or City Manager? Not hearing any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-236 is unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you, Mr.
welcome.
Gordon and Ms. Reed, for those previous items. Madam Mayor, that's all I had tonight under planning and development.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. You did a fabulous job handling those items. We'll move on then. Items 13 and 14, both of those committees, Public Improvement and Beautification and Public Relations, do not have business this evening. So we'll move on to item 15, which is Public Safety Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We have no items tonight under public improvement and beautification, public safety. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have 3 items.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
first item is to authorize the mayor to sign a service contract for public safety, youth programming between Youth Against Violence Incorporated and the City of Douglasville. Chief G. Sparks and the department, Chief J.R. Davidson. Item number 24-221, PDF.
Thank
I
you.
make- I'm sorry. I make a motion that we approve item 24-221.
Thank you so much, Madam
ma'am.
Chair. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 24-221. Do we have any additional comments, questions, or concerns as it relates to this item? I know Mayor Pro Tem brought up about the city wanting to participate in the graduation ceremonies, Chief. So several of us have been to some of the graduations. Mayor Pro Tem wanted to bring them to the council meeting, so maybe we can bring them out to Mohammed. We just have to come to, if you make certain that we have the dates for graduations, that we'll try to come and support the young people when they graduate from the program. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Chief and Deputy Chief. We appreciate all that you do. So not having any other concerns, it's been properly moved and second to approve this item. Do we have any other questions, comments, or concerns? If not, all those in favor of approving 24-221, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-221 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Now we'll hold a public hearing to consider a request for a change in agent outlet manager and the transfer of the alcohol beverage license for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverage at the following establishment. Can come forward, okay. Current license, American Express Mart Incorporated, DBA Amex Mart, proposed license 1104 Thornton LLC, DBA AG Food Mart, proposed agent outlet manager Aran Shakai. The required fees have been paid to the Finance Department. This item was discussed on Thursday. Are there any questions, our Mayor and Council? I have a question. I wasn't here on Thursday, but thank you for being here tonight. This is your first application, not your first, you're just transferring?
Transferring first.
Okay, so there have not been any citations or any suspensions?
No.
Okay, and, all right, Mr. Davison, no? All right, then I make a motion that we approve item number 24-2110.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been probably moved by the Chair, Councilmember Dr. Byrd Danley, and second, Councilmember Estes, to approve item 24-210. Do we have any concerns, comments, questions from council? I don't see any. Oh.
Madam Mayor, I mean, it says hold a public hearing.
Oh,
I'm sorry, that is right. Back in order.
thank you. We're
Hold the
moving
public
too fast. We
hearing.
got to slow the train down.
Thank you. Let me slow it down a little bit. So let me just back up. I'd like to hold a public hearing in regards to this alcohol license request. Do we have anyone here that is for or against this application? If so, please come forward. Speak now. Forever hold your peace. I see that there are none. I'd like to close this public hearing. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilmember Watts. So after we've held the public hearing, we did have a motion to approve by Councilmember Dr. Byrd Danley. Do we have a second?
Second.
City Clerk, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved in second to approve this item after having had the public hearing and no response, and we don't have any violations. All of those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-210 is unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right, the second item, like to hold a public hearing. Is the applicant here tonight? You may come forward. Okay, let me read this item. I'd like to hold a public hearing to consider a request for the alcoholic beverage license for the on-premises sale and consumption of spirited liquors at the following establishment. Proposed license SMG Hospitality LLC, DBA High Noon Eatery, location at 8440 Courthouse Square. Proposed agent outlet manager Michelle Hudson Perryman. The required fees have been paid to the Finance Department. So before I move forward, let me just open the floor for a public hearing. Do we have anyone here who would like to speak for or against this application? If so, please come down. All right, I don't see any. Thank you so much for being here on Thursday. Just the same questions I'd like to ask you Have you had an establishment other than here in the city of Douglasville?
No.
So you never, this is your first application?
Yes, I'm here representing Michelle Hudson Perryman. I'm Brina
I'm sorry,
Perryman, her daughter.
I can't hear you.
I'm here representing Michelle Hudson Perryman. I'm Brina Perryman, her daughter. But the answer is, yeah, no.
Okay, so there has not been another name under this name anywhere in the state of Georgia?
No.
Okay. And there has not been any suspensions?
No.
No? Anything? Okay, any questions from mayor and council? Okay, if not, I'd like to make the motion to approve item 24-223.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Councilmember Estes. Did you have Councilmember Estes or Mayor Pro Tem? Estes, okay. Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 24-223. Do we have any additional comments, questions, or concerns? This is moving from beer and wine to having spirituous liquor, so they're expanding their alcohol license. And that was part of the, so they can do mimosas or whatever else at lunchtime or during the lunch. Okay, yes, ma'am. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-223 is unanimously approved.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Congratulations. No other items, Madam Mayor, under public safety.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't have any business under Recreation, Culture, Tourism, Technology Committee, or Transportation Committee. So we'll move on to other business. Item 19, do we have any other business to come before council tonight from the elected officials? Okay, I don't see any. So we'll move on then to updates from our city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dotson. Staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Attorney Jordan. Our Police Department Deputy Chief Davison.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Our City Manager, Ms. Marcia Hampton.
No business, Madam Mayor.
What? Okay, thank you, Ms. Hampton. Comments from citizens and delegates. If you sustain the meeting and you'd like to speak to us, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and we'd love to hear from you. You have 5 minutes, and we can always expand the time for special individuals. Councilmember Adams.
That won't be necessary, Madam Mayor.
Good
Mark
evening.
Adams, 6400 Elizabeth Drive, Douglasville. Thank you all for the opportunity. I just need a little clarity, and I know that you'll probably have to get back to me on it, but when Ms. Reed mentioned the recommendation for zoning on the previous item that we've talked about that you all have now tabled again, I'd just like some clarity on whether or not that item then is going to be considered to be zoned R3 or R5, because I know your application is for R5, and I know
Right.
you've now tabled it twice. So when the conversation comes in that it's recommended to go to R3, does that, and I've never in my 12 years on the council had that mentioned that you would automatically, or would you consider automatically rezoning that? If you haven't been requested by an applicant to go to R3, I would assume that would not be, it would not be changed at all. That would be my question. And I'm assuming that Ms. Hampton can get me an answer on that in the next few days before we come back for the actual hearings again, so that we as residents would know whether or not we have an R3 zone property behind us now or whether it remains R2. That would be my request. Thank you all.
Yes, sir.
We can give an answer before Councilman Adams leaves, but I think your legal staff would probably advise you the application stands as submitted.
They would have to file an amendment to move it down to R3. You'd have to have another hearing before the P&Z board and before the council.
So did you hear Councilman Adams? Attorney Dotson said that the applicant will have to make a request to move it down from R5 to R3, and it would have to go back to the P&Z board because they denied the R5. So we could not hear it, or even on the tabled item. It would have to be what is currently presented, which is R5. So, is the council clear? Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing the question up, Councilman Adams. Yes, ma'am. Good to see you.
Cindy Welch, 3002 Concord Way.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a suggestion or something you could take into account. When you have rezoning applications, all we're seeing up there is exactly what it shows on our paper. But I saw Shayla had something, and it showed like the layout of the subdivision. And it was on her iPad or whatever. And I'm wondering why we can't see that as citizens.
Don't know.
It would help a lot that we could see like, oh, okay, so that's how it's going to look. No, you know, it's just a suggestion.
It's not always as easy to load those things on, but any citizen at any time can log on to our systems and I'll show Ms. Welch how to do that, and she can see exactly what Ms. Reed has even before she comes to the meetings.
Okay. Because we have more than just the words. We do have the pictures.
Yeah.
Because, of course, we're voting on the items, so we need to see what we're voting on.
And I think a lot of people sitting out here would like to see where 80 lots, you know, what they're going to look like.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought that was all classified.
It is a classified
It's
information.
not classified, you can show that to me?
So Ms. Welch, city manager just recommended or said that she can have you connect onto the system so that you can see as well what we see. But thank you for the recommendation. You're welcome. Any other concerns from citizens, comments from citizens and delegates? Thank you all so much for coming this evening. If we don't have any other business to come before council tonight, then this meeting is adjourned.